And I suppose the other thing, injuries, did something that comes up quite regularly in the questions we get asked from young keepers.
Yeah.
Did you experience any injuries yourself?
I did. When I was went to Bristol Rovers when I was 16. I managed to get into the first team when I was 17, and I had a long stint where I played. When I was 19, I played my 100th game as a 19-year-old, and then all of a sudden I had a bad hand injury, and I was out over a year. So, from having this sort of meteoric rise, the next thing I'm out of football for a year, and it took a lot to adapt to, knowing that you're going to be out for that length of period. And then of course when you come back, another goalkeeper has established himself, and then we had a situation where at Bristol Rovers we had two goalkeepers, myself and another goalkeeper called Phil Kite, and Phil ended up playing in the first team there, going on to Southampton and having a good career himself. So yeah, it was.
How did you deal with that? Because I know, again, this is something I've experienced a few different times, and like you say, it can be something, I know from personal experience, it's something that can be tough to deal with, especially when things are going as well as they are.
That's right.
And then, not that you are forgotten, but it seems like instantly, you're not in the limelight anymore, and and you say for many years, obviously a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
Do you remember how you kind of fought your way back?
Well, I remember how I fought back from it, but it was just the initial. I've been having problems with one of my fingers for a while, and it kept dislocating now, and I was in a situation where I was strapping it and playing and managing it and icing it, and I know at the end of the year I would need to get something done. And as I say, I was flying. I didn't really want to come out of the team. I'm 19-year-old. There was talk of sort of clubs being interested, and moves and everything that goes with it. I was in the international squad, and then all of a sudden, just in a 1v1, I collided with Brian Steen, who was then at Luton, and my finger sort of literally snapped at the knuckle, and they had to repair it and surgically repair it and pin it and do everything. But all of a sudden you then, it's a reality check, because you go from playing every week and everything is fine, to them saying, well, actually you need an operation now, and then in 3 months time we're going to have to reassess it and you might need a further op, which actually happened, and in the end I was out for 12 months, so
yeah, well, that's sort of disruption, we can deal with that.
Yeah.
So with the, so obviously out for 12 months, psychologically obviously there's a lot in terms of playing a game as a goalkeeper. The psychology comes into it quite regularly in terms of how you feel for games, etc. With that injury in particular, was there any positives that you could take from it, from being injured? Was the work you were doing, was there anything you could direct to improve your game other than goalkeeping?
The nice thing was, because it was a hand injury, I could still actually keep my fitness, which I found out in later years. When I was 34, I actually did my cruciate, which really finished me in that, at the time. Although I did come back from it, I was still getting problems. But at least, with a hand injury, I could still do some functional stuff. I actually joined in with the training as well. Once the my finger had been repaired and splintered, I could actually still, join in with the outfield players and keep myself involved and actually be around the club. The disappointing thing was obviously I could no longer play.